What up, YouTube? It's Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and right before you get to the video, we wanted to just include you into some information about our channel. We're in the middle of a milestone giveaway. If we hit 500 subscribers, we're giving away a slab. What slab are we giving away, Nate?
We're giving away a CGC graded 9.4 Wolverine #1 with a custom label as well, a custom Wolverine label. This is the #1, the first in his ongoing series.
Yes, but the only way we can give it away is if we hit 500 subscribers. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and yeah, so let's get on to the video, shall we? What up, YouTube? It's Two Fat Guys Pull Us, and we've got some breaking comic book news from Marvel. And you might be wondering, why is Wolverine falling in the middle of our screen? Well, we're going to tell you. What happened today is Marvel has decided, or not decided, they have gone through a rebranding, a revamp of their Marvel Unlimited app. And in doing so, they're also launching, I believe today, Thursday, September 9th, 29, is it? It's either 27 or 29, 27 issues of Marvel Infinity Comics, which are digital only, and the only way you can read them is through their Marvel Unlimited app, which both of us have. We've been using it since we started this little adventure, and so it's not really a major shift for us. Like, it's something we've been already paying for from the get-go, and so it's not like we're paying any extra, but we'll get into that. Anyway, 29,000 comics, one all-new supercharged app. Read up on the exclusive Infinity Comics and discover Marvel's Unlimited brand new features today. So, like we said, they've revamped the app, and now they're launching these Infinity Comics, these digital comics, and they've got some pretty heavy-hitter writers that are doing comics digitally on the app. And the big thing that they tout, and I will say this right now, as of recording this video, I've already read 3 comics on Unlimited, just because I wanted to get a feel for it, and I wanted to have some kind of control, I guess you could say, in this little experiment, and see, you know, what your expectations are, and I can tell you if they're valid or not.
Okay.
Anyway, you know, we've got the rebranding here that they're showing off on their page, and then they kind of get into this whole idea that we're going to get new weekly stories from Marvel from top creators such as Jonathan Hickman, Scotty Young, just to name a couple, even Kelly Thompson. And, you know, it's a gambit of characters. It's the X-Men, it's Captain America, Shang-Chi, Venom, Deadpool. I mean, it's all over the map.
So I'm a little bit hesitant about it at first, because so initially whenever we heard about Jonathan Hickman and Declan Shalvey doing something for Unlimited, I very much got my hopes up like an idiot and thought it was a Moira book. It's not. Thought maybe it would be important to Krakoa, and it looks like it's just not going to be.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get to that point.
But overall, I think it's a curious move. It's very, very, very obviously a big counterpoint to Substack. It's not like Substack was a surprise for Marvel.
Right.
All of their creators had to have already been making these decisions and letting them know in some way or the other, whether that was from the denial of further contracts or you know, turning down certain events or stories or whatever. It's not like Marvel, whenever we found about Substack, was going, "Oh my God, what is this?"
Right.
Clearly, they've been working on this as well.
Yeah, for sure, and they've recruited some of their top talents to work on these new Infinity Comics. You know, I was in the same boat as you, like hoping that, you know, especially like they hyped up Jonathan Hickman's new X-Men weekly comic pretty hardcore. I mean, yesterday. You know, like we had to decode the Krakoan and all that jazz. And so, yeah, like both of us were like, this has got to be something pretty monumental, something that's going to push forward into his Reign of X storyline, you know, or even post Inferno, which remains to be seen. But before we get into that, I want to talk about, you know, what the titles that they've announced today, which we got a little list here. So we've got the 2 X-Men Unlimited books, which deal with Wolverine. I've already read those. We've got giant size Little Marvel's Infinities comics from Scotty Young. I read the first one. Those are pretty, they're just fun stories. They're fun little kind of childish little stories from Scotty Young. It's Jeff. That is, I believe, the Kelly Thompson book.
Jeff the Land Shark.
Yeah, so I haven't read that. I am going to read that. And then there's Shang-Chi. I haven't read that, but I do want to read that. I have read the Captain America Infinity comics. That one was surprisingly good, and it's actually quite it hits kind of close to what we're dealing with right now in our country with just the word patriotism, if you will. I'll give you that. And I'm not a big Captain America fan. Not that I'm not a fan. I just don't read Captain America comics. So I gave that a shot, and it's actually pretty good. And now that I have the app, it doesn't mean I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to spend my money on that. Like, I'll probably keep reading it. And then outside of everything else, I read the Amazing Fantasies Prelude because I'm currently reading Amazing Fantasies, and it definitely had the feel of Amazing Fantasies, but you're dealing with Wolverine, which is pretty cool. And then we've got like all these other ones. We got the Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. I'll probably check that out. There's 5 issues out today.
Yeah, they put out all 5 of them. Just boom, here it is.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. We're looking at this as all of these comics came out. Now, I will say, towards the bottom, and I'm not sure if it's for every single one of them, but when I read Venom Infinity comic premiere, I think the ones that are premiere are basically like if you've never read a Venom comic, like you're completely brand new to the character. It's a I would say maybe 15 pages, and that's not even the right word to use, of introducing the character in a very easy way. So not all of these are like major comics that they released today. Some of them are kind of like character introductions, which, you know, if you're rebranding the app and you're trying to push, you know, more people to getting into Marvel comics, and maybe they've never read about Venom or Miss Marvel or Gwen Stacy, then that's probably a good kicking off point for you. But these are all the comics that were released, but I really want to dive into Hickman's X-Men Unlimited. Like you said, you had expectations of it being a Moira story, you know, maybe like getting the rest of the lives. I can tell you right now, I've read it. It's not that. And from what I can see, again, it's disappointing that it's not that, but it's a fun read. I'll say that. It was not what I was expecting, but it definitely still feels like Hickman, if that makes any sense.
Their data pages?
No data. Well, there's no data pages, but there's one at one point we see a graphic, and it feels very Hickman because there's like you follow the chart kind of thing. So there still is this aspect of Hickman that is still there. You know, the one thing that they tout about in this new release and these new comics is that it's formatted for your phone, or it's formatted for your tablet, so you're not going page to page, you're just scrolling up and down. And I will say that there are certain points that it feels very fluid, and then depending on the comic that you're reading, it feels kind of choppy. Like with Wolverine, I'd say the first 10 scrolls I can't say pages because they're not pages, they're connected, they feel connected, the space feels filled. But then there are moments in the comic where like there's clearly like a cut, and it's very abrupt. So I think they're still trying. Again, this is the first day that they're releasing it, but it wasn't as fluid as they're saying. Like, it's been built for your tablet. Like, you scroll instead of tapping the screen to go to the next page or flipping the page, you scroll. Which again, that is fluid. Like, you do that on your phone already if you're watching TikTok or you're on Facebook or Instagram. Like, that makes sense. So as that aspect, yes, that's great. But overall, I am a little disappointed in Hickman's book. I just don't. It's very Hickman in the sense that he is slowly telling you a story, if that makes sense. And that's classic Hickman. But you know, the premise of his book is it kicks off with Wolverine, and he's basically apprehending some AIM agents that have stolen something from Krakoa. That's as much as I'm going to give out. But it was cool, and it definitely has probably... The first issue is cool. The second issue has your oh shit moments. That's what I'll say. So I think it's definitely worth the read. If you're already subscribed to Marvel Unlimited, it doesn't hurt to check it out. You know what I mean? Like you're literally not paying any more to get a hold of these titles. I did have a thought earlier though when they first announced this was, dude, if they, as we progress and if they feel like this is beneficial to them and they're going to continue to push it because subscribers are going up, I would really hate for them to be like, you know what? If you want access to our Infinity Comics, instead of $9.99 a month and getting a catalog of 30,000 plus comics, you got to pay an extra $5.
Right. Upping the entry price.
Yeah, which I feel like that's coming. I'm just going to throw that out now.
Going to happen.
Like it's going to be a $14.99 a month purchase.
Yep.
So I don't know how I feel about that. If it were to go to $14.99 and I'm getting comics currently, and again, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just saying I want if I'm gonna read these comics, I want them to be interconnected to what we're reading. More specifically, XMen. We're both very frustrated with Hickman leaving, so we were hoping that this XMen Unlimited run would be somewhat connected to Krakoa, and it kind of is, but it doesn't feel like a Hickman X-Men comic book.
Yeah, and at that point, you got to think. We've kind of talked about like value for a download or for a digital comic before, and at least for us as consumers, it's about $1 or so.
Yeah.
And so if we're paying $15 a month, that means I'm going to need bare minimum 15 comics a month on this thing to really make it feel justified.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they are saying weekly releases, but but do these feel content wise the exact same as a normal print comic?
So if you asked me that question now, and from what the titles that I've read, Hickman's does not. The Captain American one did. The Amazing Fantasies Prelude did. So I think it's really based off of the writer, because even the Scotty Young one, I was reading it and I was like, holy shit, I'm still reading issue 1. So like, it does have like some of the books that I've read actually feel like a comic book. But Hickman's, again, I think it's really based off of the writer. Now, I'm going to go back and read Kelly Thompson's Jeff. I definitely want to check that out. And it may feel like a comic. And at that point, I'm going to be like, you know what? If I'm getting these every week from Unlimited on top of the catalog that I have access to, if I want to go back and read something else, $15 might be okay. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'd love to see, again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but like, obviously I'd love to see a Ewing on here. I would love to see Donny Cates. I would love to see Vita Ayala, or I'm missing somebody that I really like. Anybody on this app, I would love to see it. But if, we were going into this like going, oh shit, an X-Men title's coming out on Thursday, let's go. And I read it, and I just felt a little disappointed. And maybe that's because my expectations are too damn high for X-Men books right now. Like, we're about to find out where the Krakoan Age is really going to go here at the end of September.
It's going to be over.
Hope not.
Me too.
And like, again, I'll give a little bit more about the Wolverine comic. Like, it has Krakoan feels to it. Like, it's got the gates and it's got the mention of Krakoa and all that jazz. And there is mystery in the book, don't get me wrong. But it just feels, there are parts of the Wolverine X-Men book that got released today that just feel a little absent. And I'm sure it's going to fill out, because I feel like issue 2 is way better than issue 1. I will say that. Like, it was cool. It just wasn't. I think our expectations were just too damn high to think that we were going to get something. We were going to get a Ten of Swords or a Hoxpox, and it's more of like untold stories of Krakoan mutants during the Krakoan Age.
I feel like that's how you make a splash on something like this, is by saying, look, this is how you prove to your consumer that you're dedicated to this thing you're doing, is by putting a big ticket item in there. And I think that's why I felt that expectation was a little bit more valid than normal, because that could have been a way for them to say, hey, we really are backing this Infinity system.
Yeah.
This new...
It remains to be seen. I think of all the comics that I've read currently, Captain America probably feels the most genuine to a comic book and being like, oh, this is a new story, right?
But they also don't have to worry about messing up anything else, because there's not a current Captain America ongoing.
And probably that's why they're having to deal with like the expectation of X-Men for hardcore X-Men readers are kind of like, wait, what? But someone that's just reading,
story.
yeah, like I think somebody that's just coming in to read an X-Men story, you don't really have to know a lot outside of what's Sword Base and what's Krakoa. You know what I mean? Like that's all you have to really. That's the only backstory you have to really read in order to understand this current X-Men Unlimited book. I will say this: I think, as this goes and as this continues, we will see, like the little notes you get in your comic where it's like, make sure to read X-Men issue 5 to really understand what they're saying here. I'm sure we'll get that. I'm sure we'll get that here. And again, I'm not trying to shit on it. The story from Hickman is good. It's just not what I was expecting. Meh.
We'll have to see.
I mean, we'll have to see. I don't think this is... I don't believe this is a threat. I think it would have been a threat to comic book shops if they had done what you just said they should have done, which is it's a crazy hardcore Hickman story and it's not going to get printed, and the only place you'll ever be able to read it is Unlimited.
Right.
Like, I don't see that happening yet. When that does happen, then I think we can talk about the idea of, digital comics being more of a threat to comic book stores.
Yeah, and see, I'm not even looking for that. We can do, even if they want to do digital first, but you're gonna have to go print. Something.
You would assume, but like with everything
changing with this format, right? That's the whole point of this, is that this format won't translate to print. So,
and I can tell you right now, like reading it wouldn't. Like it's the way it's formatted and the way it's written, it's exclusively digital. So, if they try to do a money grab to go to print, they'd have to really rework it to make it work. And I just don't see that happening. Again, go out and read it. If you have Marvel Unlimited, go read it. Go check it out. Let us know what you think after you read it. Come back to this video, write in the comments if you liked it or not, because we'd love to see, the community reaction to it and see if people are reading it or not. Are you going to read it? Let us know.
I'll probably read them all.
Yeah, you will. Anyway, that's the comic book news for today. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, give us a like, because we always like them likes. We like them thumbs ups. Anyway, as always, read more comics. We'll talk to you later, fam.
Bye.